Alright, so it is Labor Day, so I'm off work today. So here's the Halo Edition Xbox, and this one has an Executor 2 mod chip, I believe is what I put in it several years back. This one has developed a problem with the capacitors, just like all of them seem to be. And in the case of this one, see all the weird glitches? And this one's been recently reloaded. So if we run a game like Need for Speed Most Wanted, you see I get these little lines, like you see like little lines come flying through the screen.
Hi, I'm Coach Merritt, and I play Mia in Need for Speed Most Wanted. Make sure you do all your racing in the game. On the street, drive safely and responsibly, and wear your seatbelt.
Now this is running on a component cable into this TV. Oh yeah, my save date is not on here anymore.
Well, look what the underground let loose. Let's see how good you do in the daylight.
So anyway, alright, now we'll power it off. I could restart it with the controller, but now, let's see, we need to go to File Manager, Emulators. This is a different version of Coin Ops, but you'll get the point. When you really try and task it, if it'll even boot. Hell, it may not even boot it this time around. Nope, it won't even boot it. So, alright, so I finally got it to boot and run Coin Ops. And as you can see, it's just glitched out. Graphics are glitched out. If you hook it up, composite to a CRT or composite to an LCD, it's just even worse. It's just a bunch of wavy lines. That's about all you get out of it. So we know it's a capacitor problem. I've already had it opened up and the main power capture trashed. It's just funny that this one will still run, and the 1.6 that it did the other day was so bad that it wouldn't even power on. So, well, alrighty, let's get the tools out. Let's get it apart. Alright, so we got it apart. And this is one that I pulled the clock cap out of. I think this one did leak. And as you can see around some of these surface mount capacitors here, they're not looking all that great. right here does not look all that great. But other than that, I think I got that clock cap out in time. So, usual suspects, and you can see that they are bulged up on top. They just ain't popped all the way yet. So, we're going to be changing everything in here. Change all of these, all of these, all of these. This is your executor mod chip. We're going to do all these surface mounts, SMD caps. Made a lot of revisions to this board over the years. Got your focus encoder. Don't even really need the mod chip anymore. If you do a TSOP flash like I have on most of mine, you can just rewrite the BIOS chip there. But I like having this because it gives me, well, for one, I think these are only 256K BIOS chips on the board. This has, I believe, 2512, so it's got a megabyte of storage. So I can have, and it's divided into two banks, so that I can have two BIOSes. If one fails, then I can switch over to the backup bank and boot it. Alright, so this is going to be an endeavor. Again, Delta power supply on this unit. Don't feel the need to recap it. It's mainly just the boards that are the problem. So let me get out my soldering tools and get to it. Alright, so I'm just going through and sorting capacitors. These are 3300 at 6.3. These are 3300 at 10. And what we're going to do, the kit comes with 3300 at 10 for all of them, which is a good thing because I guarantee you these here are probably running at either 5 volts or 6 volts. If they're running at 6 volts, they're running right on the ragged edge of what they're rated for, which is what engineers, well, I won't say engineers, we'll say the bean counters are the ones who decided that this happens. So we've got all those, and then we've got these guys. These will replace these. And then back here, I believe this is a 6800 or 680. Got like 16 volts. So we're going up to a 680 at 35 volts, slightly larger capacitor, as you can see. And then the rest of these will all be the same rating. So these will all be those, and then these will all be theirs. And these are bonus these to put in. So going up on voltage, in my opinion, is a good thing. Keeps it from running on the ragged edge all the time. Alright, so after taking my time and I don't know, 2.5 hours, something like that. Anyways, so we got all the new caps in. So these are all in this area here, especially these caps. They were kind of a pain in the ass because, and like I like to preach in my older videos, this clock cap leaked and it chewed the pads up. Even on the back side of the board, they're kind of chewed up. So that's why I preach, if you have one of these and you have never opened it up and you know for a fact that it's anything below 1.6, get this out of here while you can. I fear for some of the very first ones, like the 1.0s and the 1.1s, most of those may be irreparably damaged by now. So all those caps have been changed. And then you can see here where I have the LPC connector for the mod chip, and you got your D0 and ground and all that I gotta put back in. Got all these replaced. So my weak spot is SMDs. So, I mean, these are in here. They have connection. It's just, I need more practice with them, and I need better soldering gear. These antique Radio Shack gear has got to go. Can't even get the tips for them anymore. So I'm looking at probably a, how do they pronounce it? Heiko? One or the other of those type of irons. Weller, I've been watching some videos on Weller, and well, yeah, their quality's not all that great anymore. EEV blog has a lot to say about them not having proper protection on the transformers. Lewis Rossman, he doesn't like any of them because they're, well, the ones I'm looking at, because they're older technology and not direct, the tips aren't directly heated. Alright, so I'm going to go back and double check. I got everything positive, negative, like it's supposed to be. Don't ever put these in backwards, because if you do, you'll let the magic smoke out. But I'm going to check my gaps, because again, we got some of those where you need to make sure your gap between is good. So I would do the heatsink compound, but I don't have any currently. I need to order some. But other than that, let's get the mod chip connected back to it and do a smoke test. Alright, we got the board back in. Blue light on our mod chip. And yeah, that's good, because it won't boot any further than that, because it can't read the hard drive to load the executor config file. So alright, so let's put the drives in. Alright, drives are in. Yes, it does rock my box. Alright, I don't see any glitchies no more. Let's run NFS off the hard drive.
Hi, I'm Josie Marin, and I play Mia and Need for
Ooh,
Speed
no
most
glitchy
mornings.
lines no more.
Make sure you do all your racing in the game.
Now, this
On
is
the
running
street,
over component.
drive safely and responsibly, and wear your seatbelt.
Hands down, my most favorite game of the NFS series. I don't think I just find a physical copy for the 360. No more glitchy lines and weird video problems.
Well, look what the underground let loose. Let's see how good you do in the daylight.
Alright, so let's see if coin ops will work. Since I don't have it all configured quite right. You have to launch it the hard way. And would you look at it? No more glitches. That's what I want. Alright, so next projects for this Xbox is 2 TB hard drive. Because these old drives, man, they're about to die. So next project for this one's going to be a 2 TB hard drive with a SATA converter. We're going to swap this out for an ATA66 cable. So that'll give us plenty of storage. And there's all the pieces and parts that came out. I think I have one capacitor left over, and that's because there's between the 1.2 and the 1.5 there's a variant that has one extra capacitor. The 1.1 and 1.0s have even more capacitors to deal with. So, but other than that, I'd say she's good to go. I'm sure it'll work fine with the pound cable. I have that hooked up to the other Xbox on my 65-inch TV in the living room, and it's looks pretty damn good to me. I mean, I'd like to do or have some kind of a good HDMI mod for these, but pound cable seems to be doing its job for me, especially after recaps. It works fine. And you got to figure this one, not only would you be driving the pound cable off of it, you're also, as you can see, we're having to drive the mod chip power as well. So, but anyways, until next time.